Welcome back to Night Vision. We're once again joined here by Dr. Prahalad. He's a pediatric nephrologist at the Dr. Mehta Childrens Hospital right here in Chennai. Thank you for staying with us, Doctor. We understand that the little boy's brother, his 11-year-old brother, has also tested positive for H1N1. Just fill us in with those details, please.
Once you get a child who's positive for the swine flu, what we do is, before even testing, we inform the government about a child, suspected child with swine flu, and send it to the appropriate laboratory. Here is King Institute, Guindy. And once it came positive, we not only inform the government authorities, corporation as well as health authorities, we inform the primary pediatrician who's looking after this boy as well as the elder sibling that this child had tested positive, and saw to it that the elder sibling as well as the family members were screened for the same virus. And the elder sibling, from what I've known, has tested positive, is getting treated at Tondayarpet and is doing well.
Right.
And the parents, the father has come negative for the test for swine flu.
Doctor, what about the other information we got that there were 3 or 4 other cases that tested positive within the same building? Is this correct? I mean,
to be very truthful, I think I'm not in a position to answer this question in the sense that I'm a doctor looking at this child.
Yes.
We inform the government authorities that this child from this area had this disease, and the contact tracing is done or authorized only by the government people to do, which they have done. They did find probably few people positive in that locality as well as in the flood, but I don't have any authentic information to say that they were positive.
All right. Doctor, you were also mentioning about the fact that, when you get a child or a person with symptoms of flu, you treat them for 48 hours, watch if they're responding to it. If not, then straight away take a throat swab. Now, my question is, will 48 hours be too late?
See, this is a good question. All of us ask, every parent asks me this same question. Do we test all children with every fever and cold? One you can say yes, but then the burden and the panic created is too large to tackle. Probably among all the flus that you see, swine flu may be one cause, but a lot of times even swine flu becomes all right by itself. As told by the director of health, it is a very self-limiting disease, it does limit by itself, but what I try to put it across is, you treat the child, you expect some improvement within 48 hours for every child with cold, but when you find this child is not doing well, gets a cough with a lot of chest pain, gets headache, then probably you are dealing with swine flu.
All right. And you also mentioned that early diagnosis is the key to treatment, to successful cure. As far as Sanjay is concerned, this boy, he had come to your hospital on Friday. He was carrying all these symptoms of, multi-organ failure and stuff like that. But reports also indicate that he had initially taken treatment elsewhere. So do you think the delay was there?
I think this boy presented in such non-characteristic or non-classical way of what swine flu would present. You read through literature, see different cases, what you've seen. This boy presented with a day of fever, next day had some gastrointestinal symptoms. I think here is a time where you don't blame anybody, any hospital or any doctor. A child who's progressed so rapidly within few hours, say 1.5 days, into multi-organ dysfunction, that means basically the disease was so aggressive and nobody can think of swine flu when the child had gastroenteritis. I think here is a time when we sit together as medical practitioners and all of us in society to look at how we go about treating swine flu cases. So what I would like to say, a message is, swine flu can present in various forms, like say a common cold, fever, a stuffy nose and cough, but they do present with also gastrointestinal symptoms. At least 1/3 of them they can. But when you have gastroenteritis, you treat, but the parents say the child is lethargic. This is a warning sign that you go back. Any child who says, I want to sleep, or altered behavior, are all warning signs that disease is progressing. What you need is high index of suspicion. A child not responding to treatment or not following the normal course of events, you suspect swine flu, and then you go to the concerned labs and get your swab culture done for swine flu.
So
right. I'm sorry,
what you mean to say is the suspicion, the diagnosis actually starts from home.
In the sense that as doctors we see every child for about 10 minutes, but we educate every parent what are the warning signs of every disease. We tell them any child who has refusal to feed, persisting vomiting, this child becomes lethargic, or you find child who's got headache and a cough and says a lot of chest pain, then you probably suspect swine flu, and then you come back to me or go to the concerned place. I educate them where to go and how to go about doing this test.
Right. Doctor, but around the world there have been many cases of swine flu so far. Have none of these symptoms actually been manifested in all the other cases, all the literature that's available, all the research, everything?
See, one is, as you read through literature or see programs or also you educate yourself,
Right.
Normally swine flu is said to be a respiratory tract pathogen, causes, like any influenza virus, causes respiratory disorders, but can present with gastroenteritis. But what perplexed us was, this time this child presented with renal failure and had liver cell failure. Whether it is a consequence of the shock, the circulatory shock this child had, or we have not proved it, but whether there is any direct injury to the kidney caused by this virus is what we think. We don't say it is, but we look at and say whether can it be a cause. So we have to keep this in mind, but going through literature, none of these children or cases have presented with renal failure.
Right.
All right, but this is definitely an eye-opener for the entire medical fraternity as well. Dr. Prahalad, we really appreciate your time coming here in our studios. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks a lot.
Well, the death of the 4-year-old boy has sent panic waves across the city, especially in Bhattacharya, where the child lived. Many schools have closed down fearing the spread of the deadly virus.
This is the Akshaya school in Bhattacharya where Sanjay Balakumar was studying. Today, on a Monday morning, this school wears a deserted look. After the news of the sudden death of Sanjay reached the principal, the rest of the students of the school were asked not to come.
We didn't expect such a thing at all. But the only thing we can do is now close down school, have our children screened. These are about the only things we can do. I spoke to the health authorities, asked them whether we could get the school fumigated. And they said that isn't possible. It is not a solution because it's an airborne disease. So they said, ma'am, the only thing we can do is screen the children. So they've offered to do that. I mean, they are doing it.
In the light of this death, the health department has asked all the students and staff members of the school to attend a screening test on Tuesday morning. The Inspector of Matriculation Schools has also asked our schools in the Bhattacharya area to remain shut on Tuesday and Wednesday as a precautionary measure. Major schools in the area like the Guru Nanak Matriculation Higher Secondary School and the Bethel Matriculation Higher Secondary School in Bhattacharya have chosen to follow this advice.
And as per the instructions given by the government, IMS, that's the Inspector of Matriculation of Schools, we have responded immediately. Only thing is, today we could not close down the schools, and therefore we took all preventive measures to visit all our campuses and doubly make sure that all safety measures are taken, and an awareness talk was given to the faculty as well as the sub-staff, especially the sub-staff who maintain all the toilets.
Meanwhile, the schools themselves are working towards educating their staff and students about the flu. They have asked officials from the health department and doctors to interact with students and teachers about the H1N1 virus and how to curb its spread. In Chennai, with camera person Naveen and Kavita, Evelyn Matthew for NDTV Hindu.
This is some special information for our viewers. The following schools have remained closed today, and they are stressed will be closed tomorrow as well. That's on the 10th and the 11th of August here in Bhattacharya on account of the H1N1. These schools are the Guru Nanak Matriculation Higher Secondary School, the Bethel Matriculation Higher Secondary School, the Sri A. Ganeshan Matriculation Higher Secondary School, David English School, Vishwa Bharati Matriculation School.
Let us now take a look at the current scenario in Tamil Nadu as far as the H1N1 virus is concerned. The total number of confirmed cases have been put at 54. The number of people that who have been tested so far are 376. 40 people have been treated so far and have been sent home, while the number of people still under treatment at different hospitals in the state is 14. At least 3 persons are still awaiting their results and are still undergoing the treatment at hospitals. Well, there's lots more coming up on the other side.
So please stay tuned to Night Vision.